This investor is going to tell us how she is playing Monopoly in real life. You don't want to miss this conversation. We're going to talk about everything from how to invest in real estate with your 401k, why you should get in the room, the importance of mentorship, and so much more. And get this, she did all of this in less than 5 years. You don't want to miss this episode of the Aid to Assets podcast. Welcome to the Aid to Assets podcast, the ultimate podcast for aspiring real estate investors. I'm your host, Tiffany Watson. Join me as we discuss real estate investing for 9-to-5ers. We'll talk about everything from money mindsets and property ownership and different strategies you can use to invest in real estate. I want to empower investors, especially those of us who are working full-time, who want to navigate the world of real estate, uncover the secrets to building wealth, generate passive income to achieve financial freedom. Equip yourself with resources from experts, practical tips, and step-by-step guides on how to kickstart your real estate journey. We'll also hear from 9-to-5ers who started to build their own portfolios, what they did and how they did it, so you can do it too. Tune in and transform your main job into your biggest silent investor in your real estate investment business. This is your Aid to Assets. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Aid to Assets podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Watson, and today my guest is not only a business coach, a real estate investor, she is also a private money raiser. She raises money to build her entire portfolio, and I cannot wait for y'all to hear how her and her husband have built almost $1 million portfolio with 14 doors. Welcome my guest, Daisy. Daisy, how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Y'all know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of the information. As always, make sure you have your journals because note takers are move makers. So Daisy, before we get into all the fun stuff, I kind of gave it away a little bit, but just so we like to start with receipts here so people know why they need to be listening. Tell us about your portfolio. Where are we today? How are things? Talk to us about that.
Okay, absolutely. So, as of today, my husband and I, we have about $1 million portfolio. So, most of that portfolio is single family homes, duplexes, and etc. But we also invest in hotels. And we also invest in a tech company, which is not really real estate, but it's a real estate crowdfunding company. So, it kind of is in some ways. And so we are also raising private money now. So we are moving into our next phase, which is really shared living spaces. And we are raising funds to make that happen. And so our goal is to raise at least $1 million this year.
I absolutely love it. So, how long have you and your husband been in real estate?
So it's interesting. So we started in 2019, and it was a dare from a friend who said, "Hey, I dare you guys to do it, invest in the real estate." And we were like kind of scared a little bit, and we thought about it. And what some people don't know, but people are learning a lot of, is that you can use your 401k, borrow from it, invest in real estate. So that's what we did. And we bought our first property actually on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi down in Gulfport. And we were like, I like this. And then a surprise happened. It was like, oh, you could actually use the equity from that property and buy the next property. And we were like, bingo, we think we walked into something here.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. And I want people to hear that we told y'all Daisy has 14 doors. She says she started in 2019. That means 5 years ago, she has already built a portfolio of 14 doors worth over almost $1 million. It doesn't take long for this stuff to work. I love that. So let's talk about this friend who, shout out to the friend who, like, they're going to dare you to take on some big goals. So they dared you to get an investment property. Had y'all already been familiar with real estate investing prior to that?
No. We haven't. We kept talking about it, thinking about it, and we hadn't done anything with it. And we just took the dare and
I
went
love
for it.
y'all.
And and then what was so amazing after that, and this is what I tell people, when you take one step, the next opportunity happens. So that next year, actually that same year in December, we went on a trip to Ghana. We were in, that was the year to return. And so when we were there, we were talking about real estate with other people who also had some doors, because now we had a property. And it was a young lady there, and she was like, "Have you guys thought about investing in hotels?" And we were like, "Oh, you could do that? What? I don't, what does that mean?" And so it was introducing us to our next thing that we could actually invest in real estate. And so we got back, of course, the pandemic happened, but she had given me a name of someone who did hotels, were invested in hotels. And I joined this young lady, and you may have heard of her, Davon Reeves. She's like the first youngest African American that owned hotels. Yes. So I was in her very first little mastermind. It was like six of us during the pandemic. Yes. And to be honest, I had no idea what I was doing. So she taught us about investing, and then she got our first hotel. And so we invested with her. And then later on, when I told you about the tech company, that is her company, Vestor, which is a crowdfunding real estate company. And we got lucky enough to invest with her. And so she turned into one of my mentors, as well as to Lisa, and we're going to talk about her. And so it just introduced us to a whole new world. And so I always tell people, just get in the room, because you never going to know what's going to happen, and just take the first step, and then you'll start just sort of finding your way once you kind of step out there. And so it's just been a ride.
Oh my goodness, I absolutely love it because one, it shows just the power of proximity, right? Every time that you were willing to put yourself in a position to be closer to these goals, more doors open. So that's amazing. But also the progression. So we went from a dare. I don't know nothing about real estate, about investing, but I'm going to jump in. And like you jumped all the way in, got a door. Then we're going to scale up to hotels. Wow. Okay, so let's break this down. Let's go back, because now like people have heard the journey. They hear the amazing things that you're doing. The question we like to help people hear is to connect the dots on how, not just what we're doing, but how we're doing it, right? So let's go back to that first house. And you touched on it a little bit about 401k. So we've been talking a lot the past couple of weeks on the show how we can use 401ks to invest in real estate. So tell us about that process. How did you find the property? How did you know what to do with the money? Help us understand where you were then.
So we found the property actually through that friend who gave us that dare. It was two properties, and they were like, "We're gonna take one, and you take one." And we were like, "Okay, yes." And we were like, "Okay," but we still had to get with the realtor, figure out what was really happening. And then so we decided to go with the property, because like I said, it was on the coast. We decided to go with that. And then, like I said, we figured out after that, um, hey, you can actually use the equity from that property, and you can put a down payment on the next property. So that's what we did. We took the equity out of that property, and then we put a down payment on two more properties right
Wow.
after that,
Reusing the
maybe a
same
couple months
money.
later. Yes, reusing the same money. And then we decided, okay, everything we make in the next 2 to 3 years on these properties, we're going to use as down payment on the next property. We're not going to take any money out. We're not going to use any money. We're just going to reuse this money, everything that we make on these properties, and buy the next property. And we just kept doing that. and it got better and better throughout the pandemic because lots of things was going on, and we just kept leveraging the money we was making and the equity on the properties, because we would try to find a property. Let's just say we would find a property that was, maybe $100,000 or whatever, but it was actually worth 180 or something like that. So we would put the down payment on that property, use the equity from that property. And then, so as we kept going along, we got a little bit more advanced. We were like, oh, we could buy property at tax sales. So we bought a property at a tax sale. Yes, and we put about 30,000 in the property or something. We bought it for a little nothing. And then we were able to sell that property, seller finance, and we became the bank. We were like, oh, this is a
Yes.
whole
Yeah. Now, for those that aren't
Yes, we were like-
familiar, explain to people how seller financing works.
So essentially, we own the property. We own this one free and clear. And then, so someone wanted to buy the property from us, and we said, okay, you can buy the property from us. We came up with terms of the property, how much we were going to charge for the property, how much interest. We took it to a lawyer, basically. We both kind of sort of signed off on it. And then they start paying us like they would pay the bank with the interest for so many years that they would pay us. And then they have full responsibility of the property. We don't anymore.
Yes.
They just pay us like we're the bank.
And one of the things that I want people to hear about it is because, one, there's so many ways that you can get into real estate. And so you talked about like buying property straight out, but then also the tax sales. So the property that you purchased at a tax sale, you got at a crazy, ridiculously low price compared to what it's worth, right? So that's when people talk about buying low and selling high, that's a strategy that you're able to use to be able to do that, because you're getting this property for pennies on the dollar, but you're going to sell it at whatever whatever the market costs. But then Daisy took it a step further. She is now the bank. And so the same way that if I was to purchase a house and I was to go to one of the big banks and I would be paying them over a 30-year mortgage, someone can be paying you over 30 years or whatever the terms of your agreement is, if you own it outright and then you sell or finance and you get that income coming in. And like Daisy said, they're technically own the house because you are now the bank. So they're responsible for everything. Y'all out here playing Monopoly in real life.
Yes.
In real life. Come on. Y'all out here playing Monopoly in real life.
Yes.
Wow. So, okay, how did we learn this? But wait, how did we, because we didn't know what we was doing. We had a friend that dared us. So how did we get from that to now we playing Monopoly for real? Hey y'all, Tiffany here. Are you looking to purchase or sell real estate? As you know, I'm your aid to assets, and I want to help you with all of your real estate endeavors. Whether you're local here like me in the Fayetteville, North Carolina area, I can then help you purchase or sell your next property. If you're looking to purchase or sell outside of North Carolina, let me know too. I can still help you. I have a team of agents all over the country that I can connect you with to partner on your next deal. Let's get to the closing table, y'all. We buy our way to wealth, whether that's buying right or selling better. Can't wait to hear from you. Click on the link in the bio if you want more information on how to personally work with me or an agent on my team. Talk to you soon.
Okay, so a lot of the stuff we just learned on our own. And my husband also, I'll give it to him. My husband had one of the guys we bought a property from. He was an older gentleman, and he had been in real estate a long time. And so my husband asked him to be his mentor, and he said, "Sure, I will do it." So sometimes you just have to ask a question if you really want someone to help you. And he guided us through some of it. Some of it we learned on our own. And then back to the connection with Davon, like I was like, hey, I really want to learn more, and I want to learn multifamily. We want to learn that. And so we joined a mastermind with them as well, with her and her mentor. We joined a mastermind on real estate. And so we just constantly kept ourselves educated and in the room with others who are doing more than what we are doing, that we want to do. So we just keep learning That's essentially what it is. We keep learning. We look at the strategy and we're like, are we in position to do that now? Or could we get in position to do that now? And then we try it. We we just we try it and see. And sometimes it works.
Hmm.
Sometimes it doesn't work as well,
Right,
but
right,
we
right,
keep
right.
trying it.
The
Yeah.
power of execution is something I definitely want listeners to take away from what you're saying, is because you won't have all of the answers when you start at step one. And I know I can speak even for me. I have found myself being in situations where I didn't want to start step one because I didn't know step 17. And that's crazy because there's a whole 16 other steps in between that will probably prepare me for that one. But that is what paralyzes us at times from getting started.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And I think about it and I'm like, why did we wait so long? Even why did we even wait so long? And it's because of that. You get paralyzed because you want to know the whole thing. You want the whole security. And you actually have to make the first step before you even understand what the second step is.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
so powerful.
And then I love too, because you also mentioned at every instance you had a mentor, someone that was helping you. And even your husband, he had a mentor. And so that power in having someone that has already traveled the path successfully that you're wanting to go to be able to help you get there as well.
Absolutely, because I think a mentor, the way I see mentors, coaches, whatever, however people want to call them, is they help you collapse the time because they've
Yes.
already done it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they're always worth everything that they charge you because they help you get there a lot faster than probably how they got there, and then someone probably helped them get there. It's not a long game. And that is something that we learn from our in our mastermind a lot. He always says it's my either. It's not a long game. It's not a long game. You need a team. You got to be in it with someone. You got to be doing it with others. And so sometimes people try to do a lot of things in secret and isolation, and they're afraid to sort of, be in the room and doing it with others. But I think you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and just learn it as you go and figure it out, and realize that other people want you to win too. Sometimes we think people don't want us to win. Lots of people that want you to win.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. There are so many people that want us to win, and we have to put ourselves in position. My mentor says often that, especially once you get to a certain level and there are things that you're trying to do, you have to seek out your mentors and you have to be willing to put yourself, whether it's paying to be in these masterminds or like your husband did, and asking, being willing to ask a lot of questions and let them see that you are executing on the advice that they give you. And so to be humble enough to be able to say, I need help, I need to figure out who has done this successfully, but then also being willing to go to them and whatever it takes to be able to get to work with them and then do the work. Take the steps that need to get done.
Yes.
That's good. Okay. So speaking of mentors,
Mhm.
not that you needed something else to do, but you decided that because mind you, wait a minute, hold on. One thing I forgot to ask: are you working as well while you doing this?
Yes, I work 9 to 5. So yes.
I just like to throw that in there for people. I just want them to know, like, in addition, this is the show for 9 to 5ers to unlock the keys to extra streams of income. So we got a whole 9 to 5. We got a whole husband. And we are building
Yes.
this real estate empire. And so now we've gotten to the level where we're the bank. And so
Mhm.
people are
Mhm.
we are
Mhm.
lenders. And now you decide you're also going to raise money. Where did that come from? Where did the motivation to do that come from first?
So I think probably like most people, at some point you're gonna tap out of your own money, your own funds, or you're gonna leverage out of your own funds. And so I was like, okay, I've been really shy about this. I've heard it a few times, but I really don't know what to do. How do you get people to lend you their money? Aren't people distrustful? Like, why would anyone lend me their money just, for something like that, just because I want to raise money? And so I was actually talking to one of my other accountability partners, and she was like, "Hey, I have a friend who actually does that for a living, you could kind of take her. She could do some mentoring with you. And I was like, okay, maybe. And I really wasn't doing anything with it until I got a follow up. I got a couple follow ups from Talisa, and I was like, it's a new year. Let me try it. So I met with her, and I just loved her energy. I just loved how she was. And one of the things that really helped me go further is she was like, just be yourself and have a conversation with people. And I was like, really?
We can do that.
Oh,
That's easy. Okay.
is
Okay.
that what I need to be?
Right. Okay.
And so, yeah. So just really going through her mentorship and her approach, and this is Talisa stuff, her approach to raising money and how it's so personable and how you just really being yourself and how you just having conversations with others. And she always set it up to say, talk to everyone around. I'm that type. I get on a plane or something like that, earphones going in. I'm not talking
Hello.
to anybody. I'm not
Yes.
doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But I always had her, you know how your mom said you always got somebody on that little shoulder
Yep.
tapping at you like, talk to them, talk to
Mm-hmm.
them, talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
That private money lenders are everywhere. Talk to them. Private money lenders are
That's
everywhere.
her. I hear her
And so,
voice. Y'all, and for listeners, you got to run it back last week. So, oh gosh, you got to run it back to Talisa's episode. We will link it in the comments, in the description box, so you can hear her episode about how you too can become a private money lender by talking to your friends or strangers, as we hear, people about what the projects that you're working on. And so, and if anything, I'm gonna tell y'all, somebody that doing this 14 properties in 5 years, I would consider lending her some money. So of course, do your due diligence, but it is possible to either have your money work for you through the connections that you have, or if you are wanting to do this, you don't have to have all of your own money. You can be able to leverage other people. Now, talk to us about that, because one thing that I hear a lot from people, especially who want to get into real estate but don't have a lot of their own funds, is it's hard for them to get money from other people if they wanted to raise money because they haven't done a deal. How much impact do you think it played that you all had already had properties and had done that successfully that made people more willing to invest with you?
I'm not sure it played a huge role at all. I actually think what played the biggest role is I understood my purpose behind raising the money.
Talk to us.
And so for us, because we are also both retired Air Force, we were retired veterans. And so yes, welcome. So my husband and we want to do shared living spaces for veterans. And so we're really passionate about that. And so I actually was talking to the person that I ended up raising this money about just what I wanted to do. And he was really interested in that vision of how I would really use the money, and of course how I would give him his money back and how I would give him a profit on it. But I think instead of just chasing the money, you need to understand why you're doing what you're doing and having a good purpose behind that. And I think that plays a bigger role than if you have other properties. I'm not saying it doesn't help, because they want to know that you actually know how to do your due diligence and stuff like that. But I think probably one of the bigger roles was that we had a purpose.
I'm so glad you said that. And y'all, I didn't even know that was going to be the answer, because so many people have that as a reason they believe that this can't work, is because they don't have the experience. And so who can I talk to? Who am I going to do this? But people want to be invested in something. People want to be connected with something. And so being able to paint that picture of this is the why behind where your money is going from and the plan that you have to give them their money back, because that's important. And so you also know the character of people. Like, people wouldn't trust me if they didn't believe that I was about my business. But my clients tend to come to me because they know, oh, I'm going to get something done if I'm working with Tiffany. Your character far outweighs your experience. And I think that it's important for people to hear that, to know that that's not an excuse to not getting started.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree with that.
So
Totally.
where did you get your first private money lender?
So I am on an airplane and I'm actually flying.
For me. It's the airplanes
It's the
for
airplane.
me. I'm sitting next to the wrong people. No, I wouldn't talk to them no way. So I'm the problem. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I'm actually flying to Hawaii, and I'm meeting 4 other wonderful ladies. One of them was Talisa, for a small mastermind that we were gonna do. Right. And so here I am, ready to put these earphones on like I always do. And I hear Talisa,
Yep.
talk to everybody about, you need to talk to everybody about private money. Everybody's a private money lender. And I was like, I cannot go here and let her know I've been on the air 2 different flights and I haven't talked to anyone. How am I going to explain myself?
The pressure's real.
So
yeah, that's real. I love this.
And so I decided to talk to this guy, and we're just talking, we're just chit-chatting. And so I'm thinking about how she told me to have this conversation. So going in my mind, I'm having this conversation. I'm saying, hey, how are you? I'm Daisy. How's your family? What are you doing? Or, oh, you just traveling for fun? Because it was by himself. And we just started chatting about different things. And I was like, yeah, I was used to be in the Air Force, and he was like, I'm actually in the Air Force, and then so we had something in common, connection number 1. And so we had something in common, and I was like, oh, when are you thinking about retiring? My husband and I retired, and we just started kind of going through that. And I said, what we're doing now is we're doing some real estate stuff, and this is what we're doing. I shared the stories always help. I shared about what happened in Ghana, and I was like, that was so amazing. And I said, well, we're moving into doing this now with veterans. We're thinking about doing shared living spaces, and we're actually raising private money. I said, we're actually having a webinar, and we didn't have it scheduled really, but I was like, we're actually having a webinar in a couple of weeks. I would love for you to come. Would you be willing to come? Would you give me your information? And he gave me his email and his number, and I took it and I followed up. I came right back and scheduled that webinar. And I followed up with him, and I followed up with some others, and I said, hey, come on the webinar. And he actually showed up because I was following up with him. And he showed up on the webinar. We went through the webinar. He had some questions at the end. And I said, hey, anyone who wants to go deeper, schedule like a discovery call, we'll go deeper. And he scheduled one. I'm still
Mind
not
blown.
knowing what I'm doing,
Yes,
right? Mind blown. And I go, hey, Talisa, I got to have this conversation with this guy one-on-one. I'm not doing it by myself. You're going to have to be on the phone with. And so she comes in, and she really lets me lead it. She's just there. That's my comfort. And
that's real. That's real.
So I'm leading the question, and I'm telling him what we're doing and how we're doing it and everything. And he says, okay, that's great. I have $100,000 I'd like to put in your project. I said, what?
Lord, I see what you're doing for others. I see what you're doing for others. And what?
Yes.
I got 100 G's.
Yes. I got 100 G's.
Wow. Okay, how long ago was
and
this?
I'm ready. And I'm ready.
And I'm ready.
Yeah. And I'm ready.
And I'm ready. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So how long ago was this?
Maybe 2 months ago.
Fresh out
maybe
the press.
2 months ago.
Yes.
Fresh out the press. And this is the power of a good mentor.
Okay.
I started with Talisa in January. This happened in March.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Y'all, again, I just want to, I think every episode at this point, I come on here and I tell my listeners that it doesn't have to take long. It doesn't have to take long. You just got
Yes.
to do the work. Because if you would
Yes.
not had been willing to, like, every step we is so consequential because you didn't start here. You didn't start with somebody just willingly offering you $100,000 to invest with you. It started with you being willing to say yes to a dare. That's probably my favorite story. Like you being willing to say yes to a dare in a single family home. When you purchased that first property, could you have seen this of where you are now 5 years later? Really? Hi, my name is Tiffany Watson, and I am your local neighborhood expert. Born and raised right here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, I'm very familiar with today's current market to help you best sell your home. Whether you are trying to decide what repairs you may need to make, what you should list your home to get the best profit, or how to negotiate with buyers once you promote your property, I am here to be your trusted confidant through every step of the journey. Fill out the information form below, and I'll be happy to give you a call to talk with you about the home selling process. I can't wait to serve you. Looking forward to seeing you at the closing table.
No. No.
I
Could
love it.
not. The people I have met along the way, the deals that I have been fortunate enough to be a part of, um, I just no, I could not have. I would never have even been a business coach like I am now, a certified business coach, if I hadn't have done that deal to make the steps for the other ways. Yes. All of it is so connected. All of it.
Wow. Now, okay, so let me ask you this because I'm a baby entrepreneur. So, I love getting to talk to people who have businesses as I consider myself a student of everything that I do. And one of the things I am learning about entrepreneurship the most is how personal it is. Like I've always been a professional, like I consider myself like a professional personal development junkie. I'm gonna read all the books. I want to go to all the conferences and do all the things. And I just thought that was a quirky part of my personality. The Lord had plans because being an
Yes.
entrepreneur, this is a different type of like personal development. So I say all that to ask, what have you noticed yourself, like how have you grown the most, or maybe your favorite thing? Let's do your favorite thing about yourself that you've noticed and how you've grown over the past 5 years.
I guess the favorite thing about me, how I have grown is I'm an introvert. So I have learned how to really just find my voice, really be who I was meant to be here on earth, and then really remove like a lot of money blocks, all kind of blocks I had about my own abundance and who I really was and what I really could do and how successful I could really be. And I was like, wow, I was just really in my own way
Wow.
only because I didn't know any better. I didn't know I was in my own way. And so that's why I say it's the power of the room, because even when you go in the room the first time and you don't know what to say and you haven't found your voice and you feel uncomfortable, it's just the energy in the room starts to get into you. And if you just keep putting yourself in the room, you're going to start to embody that energy. And eventually you'll become that energy. And so that's why it's so powerful for me. So I love that I have just decided to walk in my greatness.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a decision. It is a decision that we have to make. That's amazing. Okay, tell us about your coaching because not only you like do all the things, and so it's the business coaching, but then they can also learn real estate from you as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, absolutely. So actually I went through Rachel Rogers, which is another beautiful entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I went through her business coaching program. I loved it. It was wonderful, which taught me the skills to qualify me to do business coaching. And so I decided I was going to figure out how to merge the two, business coaching and real estate. So what I do and I coach ladies in how to monetize their expertise. But the next piece inside of the coaching program that I do is, now you've learned how to monetize that and you're making money. Now let me teach you how to grow your wealth with real estate. And so that's one of the things that I'm going to be doing inside of my program, is teaching them that, having experts come in, and then going even further to help them invest in their first deal.
I love it. Because I tell people so much. It's not necessarily about how much money you make, but it's about how much money you can keep. And so knowing once you have a good stream of income coming in, how do you diversify that? And so that way you can have your money working for you even when you're not, because our time is
Hmm.
limited,
Hmm.
but our money can
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
making more and more tenfold. So that's amazing. How can people get in touch with you online, social media, all that fun stuff?
So my Instagram is at Daisy Jones Brown, and then they can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty much under the same name, Daisy Jones Brown. I also have my page, is because my business is called Brown Suga Wellness. So I have my Facebook page is Brown Sugar Wellness page. That's sugar without the R, because I'm Southern.
Come
And
on.
and then I have a coaching program going on now. So I think I put a link in there for, like, my website or my landing page, which is also Brown Sugar Wellness. And they can get in touch with me there, and they can decide. We can talk, we can have a discovery call. We can just talk about next steps. We can talk about how you combine real estate with coaching and what I do inside of the program. And so I just love seeing people become their very best and win. It has given me so much clarity, so much peace, so much purpose. And I started all of this after 50.
Yes. Yes. Cause listen, we got time. Like we still can do
We got
amazing
time.
things. We can do
We
amazing
got time.
things. So we don't want to waste it, because we don't want to trade our time.
Hmm.
But we have time to do the
Hmm.
things that just make our heart just beat. Like that's what it's about.
Yes.
Ah, Daisy, you have been
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I just want women of all ages to know it's never too late. You can
Yes,
do exactly what's in your heart.
I
You can
love
do
it.
exactly it.
Okay, last question before we wrap up. So one of the things that we like to do here on the show is we set intentions. We're really emphasizing the importance of being clear about where we're wanting to go. So, where do you see yourself 1 year, 3 years from now? Your choice. What's going to be true for you and your business?
So, in 1 year, I definitely will be in my coaching business. I definitely will see myself doing group coaching, which I just started doing. I'm in my beta right now. And so I want to grow that coaching business, obviously, as far as it could go, into millions. And so what I know for sure that I want to see myself in 3 years is retired from
Yes.
the 9 to 5,
Mhm. Mhm.
financial independence, and just time freedom so I can travel. I love to travel. I love to be all over the world. And I just want to do more of that, and decide to work when I want to work, doing the thing that I love. Honestly, helping other women become their best selves.
I love it. So, y'all, all of Daisy's information is going to be linked in the description box. So, you can definitely tap in with her if you are looking for an amazing coach. She is definitely one that I would definitely consider. If you have more questions about any of her experiences, all the way, we playing Monopoly in real life, y'all. And so, definitely tap in with her and see how this continues to blossom. Daisy, again, thank you so much for coming and sharing your time with us and your story with the Aid to Assets community. Y'all, I can't wait to see you at the closing table. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to another insightful episode of Aid to Assets. Remember, your journey from 9-to-5er to successful real estate investor is within reach. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep investing in your future. If you'd like to know more, connect with me on Instagram at Aid to Assets. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Until next time, happy investing.